Is there someone in your life who loves you passionately, cares for you, and reflects God's unconditional love for you and others? It wasn't until after my mother died that I realized she not only loved me unconditionally, but by living her faith, she showed me God's unconditional love that He has for me. As a child, I remember thinking I wanted to grow up and be just like her, because she was always smiling, laughing, and in a good mood. That's why as a little girl I read the Bible non-stop for hours, even though I really didn't understand most of what I was reading. She already found the secret to happiness, and all I had to do was follow her lead. As you listen to today's reading, try to imagine how God can love us so much that He kept sending prophets to the Jewish people, and how He never gave up on them. Then on top of that, He wants to spread His unconditional love to all people by sending His only Son to sacrifice His life to redeem us all. And we still don't get that God not only loves us more than we can imagine, but He doesn't want to burden us. He's trying to empower us so we can be the best that we can be and co-create heaven on earth. Now listen to the reading. As the Lord spoke to me, the Spirit entered me and set me on my feet. And I heard the one who was speaking to me say, Son of man, I am sending you to the Israelites, rebels who have rebelled against me. They and their ancestors have revolted against me to this very day. Hard of face and obstinate of heart are they to whom I am sending you. At some point in our lives, I think we've all been able to relate to today's psalm about being put down, bullied, and mocked. The psalmist prays for God's mercy, that is, an act of God's grace that puts an end to our suffering. Listen to the psalm. To you I lift up my eyes who are enthroned in heaven. As the eyes of servants are on the hands of their masters, our eyes are fixed on the Lord, pleading for His mercy. As the eyes of a maid are on the hands of her mistress, so are our eyes on the Lord of God, till He have pity on us. Our eyes are fixed on the Lord, pleading for His mercy. Have pity on us, O Lord, have pity on us. For we are more than sated with contempt. Our souls are more than sated with the mockery of the arrogant, with the contempt of the proud. Our eyes are fixed on the Lord, pleading for His mercy. In today's second reading, Paul mentions a thorn in his flesh he asks God to take away. When God responds saying, My grace is sufficient for you, for power is made perfect in weakness, it didn't make sense until I thought about my own life experience. While my father, not God, caused the childhood sexual violence I suffered, it made me weak to the point of having suicidal thoughts, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and frequent depression, which I hid from the world for years. After I ignored it and having it explode my face, it wasn't until I began turning to God and opening my heart, my mind, and my soul to Him, just giving it all to Him, that I became so empowered that last year He blessed me with a new friend who helped me conquer PTSD once and for all. As you listen to the second reading, think about an overwhelming weakness in your life. Then ask God to help you, to turn to Him and open your heart, your mind, your soul, to Him and give it all to Him so He can begin empowering you. Now listen to the second reading. Brothers and sisters, that I, Paul, might not become too elated because of the abundance of the revelations, a thorn in the flesh was given to me, an angel of Satan to beat me, to keep me from being too elated. 3 times I begged the Lord about this, that it might leave me. But He said to me, My grace is sufficient for you, for power is made perfect in weakness. I will rather boast most gladly of my weaknesses, in order that the power of Christ may dwell with me. Therefore I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions, and constraints for the sake of Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong. While I read today's gospel, think about when you received a message from God from an unexpected person. For me, it was a new friend who instructed me how to conquer PTSD once and for all. At first I hesitated, but he kept telling me things that only God knew. I had to hear him out, and I'm so glad I did. Now listen to today's gospel. Jesus departed from there and came to his native place, accompanied by his disciples. When the Sabbath came, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard him were astonished. They said, Where did this man get all this? What kind of wisdom has been given to him? What mighty deeds are wrought by his hands? Is he not the carpenter, the son of Mary, and the brother of James and Joseph and Judas and Simon? And are not his sisters here with us? and they took offense at him. Jesus said to them, "A prophet is not without honor except in his native place, and among his own kin, and in his own house." So he was not able to perform any mighty deed there, apart from curing a few people by laying hands on them. He was amazed at their lack of faith. Like in today's gospel, do you remember receiving a message from God from an unexpected person? Maybe it's God's way of getting your attention. If you can't remember, keep thinking about it. The point is to always listen for God's loving guidance in everyone, everything, and everywhere, in your surroundings, the people and events in your day. Sometimes God just wants to say, "I love you." Like in a blog post I wrote a while back, I'll include the link below this video, where I also suggest some, things that you can do to help you become a better listener. One morning, while watching the sunrise at 6:20 a.m., I just felt loved by God, and I smiled and wondered why. Then I imagined the curved rings of the sunshine with his outstretched arms, reaching out to give me a tight hug, the kind that says more than words ever could. It makes you catch your breath. It's funny how when I make more time for God, I hear him better, clearer. Oof. But why do I need to learn this every day? I think because it's harder to be living in the world but not being of the world. We're infinite spirits wrapped in mortal bodies at our spiritual core. Keep forgetting that the essence of our true selves is our spirit. And the spirit world is reality because the material world is distracting and elusive. The more I trust God, the more I love God. It's a love relationship that can't go wrong unless you screw it up. And even when you do, you know it's going to be okay. What I'm suggesting is that you focus on listening for the love. Like any relationship, it takes time and work, but you will not be disappointed. God bless you. And be sure to take care of God's precious gift, you.